So today we have my microphone in my hand because I just don't feel like placing anywhere else. So today I want to talk about procrastination because it is a problem. Okay, I just realized I was watching this video on Instagram and I was talking about how to identify a procrastinator, and I realized that I fall into all of them. Well, basically we're saying that procrastinators are people that know what they're supposed to do, but they delay for some reason. They get easily distracted. They need motivation to get things done, and I would think that's the most normal. Everybody needs motivation to get things done. Am I the only one? This went on and on. So I was like, okay, what does the Bible says about this? What does the Bible says about procrastination? We do know and we are aware of a few Bible verses, but the Bible verse that got put on my way that was like, ouch. It's James 4:17. And I believe he put this Bible verse in specific for me because earlier today, before I watched the video on Instagram, and that's why I'm here now making this YouTube video, and that's the reason I'm here right now making this podcast, is because I was talking to my sister and I realized that I am the worst type of procrastinator. I don't I don't know if there are any other types of procrastinators, but I am the worst type of procrastinator because I just not procrastinate, but then when things don't go ideally, when they don't go my way or the way I believe that they are supposed to go, I block. I block. I don't have motivation to get out of there. I don't get motivation to get things changing, like moving. And I just stay in that cycle where things are not going the way I wanted. So I cry, but I also don't do anything. So things got getting worse. And that's the cycle of my life. A lot of times. I was like, God, show me the Bible verse. Speak to me about it. Because I don't think I have heard enough to actually change. And God was like, it's not about hearing, it's about obedience. And that goes back to me, a procrastinator, with lack of discipline and obedience. How amazing is that? So it is sin to know what you are supposed to do and choose not to do it. We take procrastination very lightly. I just realized that we take procrastination very, very, very lightly. When it talks about this verse, the first thing that I notice is the moral accountability. Because with knowledge comes responsibility. So once you know what you're supposed to do, you become responsible for that. And your action will determine, I don't know if that's how you say in English, that's how you pronounce, is gonna show how responsible you are. So it comes with that weight of responsibility. So if you know what you're supposed to do, you choose not to do, it just shows irresponsibility. And this suggests basically that ignorance can be less culpable than willingly disobey. Wow. So sometimes it's better to be ignorant. It's better not to know than to know and willingly disobey. It also says a lot about your character, and that for me is like, ouch. You know, I don't want to be seen as irresponsible. I don't want to be seen as procrastinator. I don't want to be seen as not trusted with a task, not trustworthy with a task. And that's the moral accountability that comes with that Bible verse. And the second thing is active faith. So the book of James focuses a lot in faith. And with this Bible verse, we can say that faith comes with action. If you are given a task for a result to come out of it, and you don't take action, how can you have faith? Wait, what? Wait, because faith is expressed through action. So let's talk about my podcast right now, right? If I have faith that God can bless my finances through podcasts, through being obedient, even though this makes me uncomfortable, is out of my comfort zone. But I believe that He can bless my finances with it. But I don't make videos. I'm never gonna see that faith come, that belief or that promise. I would say that. I will never see that promise come to pass because I chose to procrastinate. My disobedience, my procrastination overpower my faith because faith without actions is dead. Me believing in God can bless my finances to the podcast that He called me to do, but I don't do it. I don't obey. Is dead. There are no fruits coming from it. Third one, Bible verse also shows personal reflection. The Bible verse encourage self-reflection and introspect. It urges us to examine ourselves about what we think is right, what are we supposed to do, what are our tasks, what are our goals, what are our to-dos, what are we supposed to do, what is right. So it is a call for action that we are not supposed to be just listeners of the word, just listeners of what we're supposed to do, but to take action. So do that self reflection. Help us do that self reflection. Which type of person I am, who I am when it comes to that. When I receive a task, when I know what I'm supposed to do, when I have a to do list, when my boss calls me to do something, when God calls me to do something, do I take action or not? Do I know what is right to do or do I prefer to ignore? Or do I prefer to ignore so I don't have to take the responsibility that comes with it? Maybe because I think I'm not ready. Because I think I'm not mentally there. Maybe because I think I'm not motivated enough. And all those reasons that I gave right there, those are signs of a procrastinator person. Need of motivation, need of a third thing to drive you to do what you're supposed to do. Fourth, community impact. So the impact of this verse extend beyond individual impact, but it can affect the whole community, it can affect people around you, it can affect your workplace, it can affect your church, it can affect your family. So by failing to obey, by failing to complete your task, by failing to be responsible, you may affect the people around you. And what is worse is that our brain sometimes want to make us believe that it won't. We think like, if I don't do that, am I hurting somebody? Is somebody being affected? No, just me. This whole thing that the world says you can do whatever you want and not do whatever you don't want as long as you're not hurting anybody. It's a lie. It's a big lie. It's a big lie because you are always affecting someone. Always. It's just mascara, like a cover for you not to see and not take responsibility of the consequences of your decisions because it will affect them. It always does. The fifth one, spiritual growth. Understanding what you're supposed to do is part of spiritual maturity. Understanding what you're supposed to do is part of spiritual maturity. Understanding what you are supposed to do is part of spiritual maturity. And this is hitting me differently because a lot of us Christians, especially the ones that we read our Bible on our own and stuff like that, which is good. You're supposed to get to know God on your own as well. But we fall into this belief that it's about my relationship with the Lord and how I understand the Bible and if I have peace about it or not. And it's me, and God, me. It's good, but it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. It's just so interesting that procrastination, that delay our responsibilities, it shows our spiritual growth. Because you have peace about it, you think everything is fine. And you think that you are so mature spiritually that you trust in that feeling, in that emotion that blinds you to realize that you are just procrastinating and finding peace in being disobedient. Ouch. Yo, let me stop here, okay? Actually, no, let's continue. But basically, with spiritual growth, I want to focus more in spending time with God. Makes you get to know Him and be more sensitive to His voice and know what you're supposed to do and learn how to be obedient to that voice and be responsible with it. And knowing God's will for you, knowing what you're supposed to do, will help you to live your life aligned to God's will for you. You're going to live according to God's plans. Instead of you thinking that you are mature enough to fall into your understanding instead of God's understanding. Does that make sense? I really hope so. Basically, those are the 5 things that this Bible verse made me think about when it comes to procrastination. Is very deep. Procrastination is not just I will do it later. I don't feel like doing right now. Um, it really shows responsibility. It shows discipline, self control, obedience, maturity. Yeah, it's deep, very deep. So this is all for Indira Speaks. I hope you to see you next episode. Don't forget to comment if you have any questions or if there is any topic that you want me to talk about. Please, 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 please put it in the comments section. Go ahead and put a like. For the ones that have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Bye. And I see you next time.